episode 7. Lucky number 7 means lots and lots of drama. Great stuff to talk about for this episode. Let's go ahead and greet our guest for today. Ladies, say hello.
Hey, this is Michelle.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, ladies, we have so much to talk about, so we have to get started right away. My gosh, let's see. We've also got to take it from the top. The show kind of started right away with taking us back in time about 15 years to really see how the love relationship, the marriage of Mellie and Fitz really began. Michelle, when you first saw them in the bed, gazing into each other's eyes, what were you thinking? Like, did you know that it was a flashback? Did you know that...
I think Shonda could have done better on the makeup of everyone, not just in the bed. Cyrus Fitz had his crow's feet that he has now. If he was looking that old then, he's done nothing in that office. But I mean, you could tell it was a flashback because Mellie's hair was quite big and bobby. So, yeah, you really could. They looked happy. He looked like he really loved his wife at that point.
I agree. They really did. That's the one thing that I did like about that portion of it. They really set it up to kind of, as we saw throughout the episode, to really show the depths of some of the experiences that, surprisingly, Mellie's actually had along the way. The next thing I was thinking, what's going on with this Olivia and Fitz relationship? I mean, at one point, I was just like, I was really rooting for him. I was really kind of rooting for them. I mean, 50% yay, 50% nay. But now I don't know if I'm still on that train. What about you? What's going on with all the secrecy and I don't know.
Every relationship is going to have secrets. They definitely need to work it out. I mean, even if she is a side chick, work it out. Oh my God, work it out. I feel like he just needs to. I mean, she hasn't developed everything to him either. She needs to grow up and move past it. And I mean, I can't say that if I was in the same shoes, that if you shot down my mother's plane because my father told me to do so, I can't say I wouldn't be upset with you. You have some work to do, but he didn't know that was her mother.
Yeah,
so,
I have to agree. This one, especially with that, Shonda is definitely doing a very good job of kind of tying the episodes together via, their relationship. Today, though, she really absolutely topped it off with the Papas. Okay? I mean, we got Papa Pope. Yeah. We all know he's crazy. We all know that he's a little spastic. But Papa Fritz, oh my goodness. I mean, he came out of like the shadows, like...
He's ahead of the game in so many ways. But you know what? I think it's going to catch up to him. And I'm glad even in those previews at the end of next week's episode that mama said, you're going to be the one that does this. Because he does need to pay in some way, shape, or form. Somebody needs to pop up. And you give him a rolling. That's one pop I wish was a Rolling Stone. Because that's just ridiculous.
That's so good. I mean, like, so when as we were taking a look deeper into the realms of the political life, as far as what it looks like for this particular show, what was your first thoughts or your first impressions of Fritz's father? And Morgan's now joining us as well. Morgan, what was your first impression of Fritz's father?
Well, we saw Fritz's father in previous episodes, so I already kind of knew what we were dealing with. I just wanted to comment on something about earlier. I just think that it's interesting that Shonda keeps making Fitz the victim. Like, no matter what happens, Fitz comes out of every episode as the victim or like the good guy on top. So I wasn't surprised by the father because he's shown his self before. Like, that's the reason that the whole what is the operation name for the whole Defiance? The whole Defiance thing really got under his skin because them rigging the election meant that his father was right, that he couldn't win the election on his own. So we already knew what we were dealing with. Now the rape, that okay,
He's a monkey.
that
He's a
was just
monkey for Rex
wow,
Mellie.
didn't know we were rolling like that.
Right.
So no.
Yeah, that was actually the very next thing that really popped up. And Michelle, please jump in on this one. This episode really showed that Mellie is truly a ride or die.
Soldier.
Okay?
I don't agree.
She's like,
I don't agree.
I don't like some of the methods that she took. Several times I thought she should have slapped somebody, spoke up, and maybe somebody should have ended up dead. But hey, you know, she chose to handle it her way. Michelle, what do you think about everything she's kind of been through?
I'm going to tell you the notes that I wrote down about Mellie in this episode here. And you know what? I haven't taken this many notes since class. I was in school. But this episode is ridiculous. Mellie has been there, and she said it. She's been there through everything for this office. She risked jail time. She risked, just everything. She's risked her life for this office. She is a soldier because initially she was fighting, but she said that this is going to get us in the White House. And she told Cyrus it will be done tomorrow. And she did what she needed to do. She shut that little mouth so that he wouldn't have to hurt her any further, so to speak. And she went on with it. I say thumbs off to the side for you, really. And not thumbs up because I don't condone it. But, it's kind of up, kind of down.
Disagree.
Morgan, please go ahead, share us.
I disagree.
Share your thoughts with us.
Earlier, Michelle made the comment about how every relationship has secrets and whatnot, and I sort of hope that's just not true. I guess I guess that can be normal, but I just really would hope not, especially not in a marriage. But Mellie definitely was a victim. But once you use your victim, the fact that you're a victim as a means of manipulation and use that as a way to advance yourself, she was perfectly within her right to tell Fitz what happened. She should have told. I'm not saying that Mellie's the victim. That she's the one to blame or whatever, but her marriage, that was her husband. I think that Fitz would have supported her and would have done what was necessary to support her. But she chose in that moment to place power over protecting herself and moving forward with the marriage. That's what I feel. I don't feel like that decision was her being a ride or die. I feel like that decision was her deciding that she wanted to place what she was going to do and how they were and power and get into the White House before protecting herself, before standing up for herself as a woman. It was not right what he did to her. It was, and if she had told Fitz and Fitz wanted her to carry on as if nothing happened, that would have been a situation where that couldn't have continued on either way. But that was not right.
It's the ultimate definition of a ride or die because she put herself last in that situation. She definitely is a ride or die. No, I don't condone it, but she sat there and took it. Fitz might have a sister for all we know, and it's birthed by his wife. We don't know what all has happened, but we know now what has happened. That's what I meant to say. But she's a ride or die chick. She's sitting here telling him, be my friend through all of this. I'm watching you. She's kissing Olivia's butt at the beginning of the show, of the episode. She's kissing her butt. Like, come on in, whatever you need to do. Go behind the curtain in the Oval Office so that they don't see you, standing on this circle. She's kissing her butt. She has been through everything for this office. Mellie has a newfound respect for me.
And you know what? I think what's very important for all of the viewers, of any age that we may have, for you guys to know that we don't condone the acts of violence, verbally, physically, emotionally, in any capacity. But what I was specifically saying when I said the ride or die is that Mellie, she came in the game with a goal in mind. If you notice when she and Cyrus were standing outside of the house and she was saying, no, I'm a lawyer. Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, no, you don't understand. He's now your full-time job. So Mellie is she's not innocent. Like she's not an innocent bystander and these things are happening to her. This was a very strategic placement. Her being partnered with the next person that's going to be president and then her making her way up. Like all of this is strategic. And so but there's a sense that I saw in this episode of like she's ruthless. Like her wolf was really coming out because in other episodes I felt like she was always in defense mode. Mellie's not in defense. This girl is playing offense, and she knows what she's doing. She faked a miscarriage. And she's got to go, and she's going after it. It's crazy.
She faked a miscarriage. When they were in the polls in the campaigning process, she faked a miscarriage to get sympathy votes. She allowed herself to. They had a baby to stay in the White House. And that's why Fitz gets to look like the victim. It's not fair that Fitz gets to look, because he's an adulterer. It's not fair that he gets to look like the victim every single episode. But there are, like you say, wolves around him, and Mellie is the main one howling. Okay.
You know, we were saying, you know, myself and the crew here, we were all sitting around and we were watching the episode, and it was just like, you know, he actually started out this really clear, clean-cut, white hat wearing guy. And he's definitely been tainted, you know, along the way. He definitely, as an adult, made some decisions. But it's just like crazy to see how he got played. Everybody's been playing him. And, well, now, you know, it's all coming right back around. What I do wanted to go ahead and bring is that normally Scandal is all about Olivia Pope, okay? We all are gladiators, and we're down with the Pope. But this episode, I don't really know. You know, she kind of took a passenger seat to this episode. We do have a clip to show you because we did have a client. Let's take a look at what we were introduced to this episode.
So let me get this straight. Your dad, not only is he the head of this country's most top secret spy organization, he's also responsible for shooting the plane down that your mother was on.
He gave the order, yes. Whether it was to kill my mother specifically or she was collateral damage, that's what I need your help figuring out. I know it's a lot to take in, and I probably should have told you sooner, but...
Liv's father's a dangerous man. She was trying to protect you.
Which is why I need you to be 100% sure you want to work with me on this. You don't have to. We have plenty to do for Josie's campaign.
We're helping Liv.
No doubt.
Of course. Over a cliff. I know. But this... There's one other person involved. The pilot my father ordered to shoot down the plane.
Okay. And so the plot thickens. This was definitely a web-weaving episode. Definitely probably setting us up for the next couple of episodes. Ladies, let's hear from Michelle. When we saw this clip and we saw, okay, she's actually gonna, you know, disobey her father, who told her, you know, last time don't dig any deeper. Fitz told her the same thing, don't dig any deeper, and like true Olivia, she's digging deeper. What was your first thought when you saw this? Let me know, Michelle.
I thought, I'm still waiting on a bullet to come through one of her windows at any moment. Somebody on that next roof is going to just be shooting any moment. Everybody that is a gladiator in that office is just going to die. Because I just know that something's going to happen. There's going to be a silencer on their gun. But I think that it's something in her nature that says, you know what, this isn't, you know, I can't have a normal life. I have to go into the depths of, I got to go into the valley of the shadow of death. That's where she is trying to be. She resides there. A little nice apartment she has, or loft, or condo, or whatever it is in the valley of the shadow of death. She's trying to die.
Morgan, what were your thoughts when you saw, okay, wait a second here. This chick is really getting ready to go and try to investigate this top secret mission. What were your thoughts?
I think that I say all for it. I think that she deserves, as much as she helps people, I feel like she deserves to have some closure and to have some answers as it pertains to her own life, especially if it seems as if everybody in her life at this present point in time is completely just screwing her over. So I say go for it.
She's around. She said that she's surrounded by murderers, and I mean, she's trying to grab at Fitz for answers and everything. I mean, okay, so if you know that this stuff is top secret, you're still going to be going, it's time to grasp those 2 clients that you have so you don't go back into money troubles and you fix their problems. You quit trying to fix your own.
Yeah, well, she's the fixer, I guess. And so I guess she decided she was going to take it into her own hands. I just kept thinking, like, man, something her dad said of, let the past be the past and leave it there. Like, at some point you have to leave it there, because there is this sort of naivety about her, like, where she just feels like, or she doesn't understand that the big player calls that she makes every single day, they do cost. I don't know if she thinks that people are just throwing words around and then, stuff is happening in the world. It's almost like she doesn't understand that somebody's got to pay a price, and there's a price to be paid, and you're just not aware of it. Like, I don't understand her.
She was bred by the man who gets the final say.
Right.
So it's in her blood. Okay.
So
the man that was her father gets the final call and say in everything. It's some of that seeped through.
Oh, and Michelle, speaking of the final say, as Fitz's father was disclosing to Mellie, therefore we all found out that on Global Flight 522, Fitz shot it down. You guys, what's happening? Like, I mean, the web is weaving, and Fitz. We thought that when he killed, what's her name in the hospital? Remember episode?
That's exactly
that was the first time he killed 200 and something people on a plane.
No, ma'am. 329 passengers.
See?
You gotta watch the show.
See?
It was 329 passengers because Gardner, I said his murder count is now up to 330 people.
He's with the mob now. He's up there.
He's up there past me 613. Come on. Oh, shit. No. You know what? I mean, David was wearing the white hat. I kind of gave it just a little bit, but my goodness, not anymore. He is making that white oatmeal color. He is just dirtying it up.
And Morgan, look, I want to ask you, the similar question. Fitz's father, he's yelling and he's saying, "Not my son." Like, it should have been given to, some other little boy out there. You weren't supposed to be there because the Fitzgeralds, we don't take orders. And what is happening? Like, he wasn't supposed to be there, but he was trying to prove something, probably to himself, that he can make it. As we see, he's still on that same mission of proving that he has what it takes. And then this tragedy happens, and now all these people come around him. Like, Morgan, what's going on? Who is Fitz?
Well, I was a little confused because on the higher level, it's discussed as if it's his top secret mission, but his father knows that he actually did shoot down the plane, and he knew that it was, well, supposedly it was because there were bombs. Because the rest of the world, the public got that it was a malfunction with the plane or the equipment itself. Mm-hmm. But there's at least a few people in the public do know that there could have potentially been some initiation for a war or something like that. So I'm just a little confused. Is it top secret? Is what Fitz's father thinks it is really not what it is? And then is there some bigger issue? Because apparently people is hopping off the planes now. We up to at least 2 people who got off the plane. So I'm just like, okay.
But you know what, though? You know what? When I sit here and think about it, okay, so we might be hanging Olivia's father for, you're a murderer and you're a killer and all this other stuff. But, I mean, he's not such a bad guy. If he got his wife off of that plane, he must have loved her in some way, shape, or form. So, I mean, I think that if it would have been blown up anyway, those people were destined to die. We can't really hang that on Fitz at this point. Now that we know they were going to be destined to die anyway because it was going to blow up as soon as they got to the target, we have to give Eli and the president a little bit of leeway because they got the wife off.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there. What was actually being discussed here in the studio was, it's very interesting because I kind of am understanding why Papa Pope is so cold now. or at least up until this point in the episode, I start to feel like I kind of understood him. When you have to take an order to shoot a plane down that you know your wife is on, man, no wonder he doesn't care about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to, up until this point, we assumed that she was dead on the plane according to an order that he had to follow himself. So it's kind of making sense, right? Like, forget what everybody else has to sacrifice because I've already given it up and I've already lost it up. And then they call it the, what do they call it? The CYA, cover your assets. You know, like, we had to, and that's not what they said, but I would have had remixed it for y'all. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, so Michelle, let me know what's going on with this. Like, Papa Pope shooting down bombs to keep bombs from blowing up, killing people to keep from killing more people, but then he turned around and he killing the people. And then Olivia was like, she don't want to ask him how many people he killing because if he do, he gonna kill him. And it's crazy. What's going on? What's happening?
You know, I miss the innocent Fitz. I really do. I miss that Fitz that was ignorant to everything. But then again, he wasn't ignorant. I mean, when we first met him, it appeared to us that he was ignorant to everything. But, you know, he's shooting down planes and, you know, taking orders and lying about which pilot's on which, you know, at which place and all of this. So he had his hands dirty a little bit, you know, from the beginning. So he's a scandal. He's a perfect candidate for president.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a little lost. I'm glad that Olivia kind of took a back seat to this episode because it helped us see all of the other stories that we're about to hear about.
Yeah.
Even with, you know, Becky and Huck again. I mean, you know, Quinn and Charlie this time, but, you know, it just allowed us to see a whole lot else. So I'm glad that Olivia kind of backed up, but he's a mess right now.
And that's good.
Those curls in his head are still in place. So I just want everybody to know I love those flips in the back of his head.
Yeah, he keeps the gel. He keeps it tight. He does. Morgan, speaking of, you know, having your hands in something and secrets coming out, look, we found out everybody's got skeletons in their closet. In this episode, a few of Mellie's skeletons came out. You know, we kind of got to see the raw side of her, but then also Madam Vice President's skeletons, or per se her husband's, and how everybody's playing each other to get what it is that they want, and nobody is looking out for the team, but everybody wants to be a part of the team. Morgan, what's going on? What's going on in the White House?
I'm just going to take this moment to plug in my recent theory, right? My previous theory about this being about power and what Shonda Rhimes is trying to communicate. And I think that it's power comes at a price. And I think that, you know, there's a message being sent about politics and what it takes to be a part of politics and where your own personal integrity comes in. I feel like people are selfish, but they're not selfish at the right moments. And they don't handle their selfishness properly. I mean, I guess there's self-care and then there's selfishness. And there's a lot of selfishness. Nobody's like self-caring. Nobody's really trying to take care of anybody else, like you say. It's just really messy. And I think that's the message that we're supposed to get, that it just gets messy. One, when you want power, and second, when you want to be a part of politics.
Well, I got some more mess. I got some more mess to bring up. You guys know that we do Character of the Week.
Yes.
And I know last time everybody was like, you always pick a Pope. You always pick. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But this time, I was torn. So I'm getting a little messy. I got two people for Character of the Week.
Okay.
And I picked the two peas in the pod, the papas, okay? Papa Pope and Papa Fitz. They stole it for me this time. I said, I can't decide who's crazier. Is he psychopath and is he insane, or is he, I don't know what's happening, but Papas, come on, take your walk because you guys got it, okay? We take hats off for everybody that's talking about I own you. If one of them say that one more time to their kids and tell them they own them, somebody need to learn how to let go. Okay, let go, release. Let the little birdies fly and have their own life. Y'all crazy. Okay, well, guys, before we wrap it up, I do want to bring up the very obvious thing that we haven't talked about yet. And that's Quinn and this B613 obsession that she's suddenly had. And now she's an obsessive, gun carrying, well, she ended up being a murderer at the end.
Just initiated.
Morgan, what's going on with this initiation? Has
She
curiosity
went through
killed
her
the cat?
hazing. This she just got hazed, and she officially has her B613 number letter. You know, she gets her jacket soon, and all her she's
Right.
officially a member of B613, and she did not seem very happy about that. And
But Michelle, wasn't she sticking her nose in people's business? How many times did she ask Huck, and how many times did he tell her, little girl, go sit down?
Have yourself a seat.
Sat down
And
now. Don't be asking.
I have been saying from the beginning that Quinn needs to sit down somewhere because she is trouble all day, every day. She is trouble. Even when she's sitting there calling that boyfriend of hers from the beginning, talked about, I'm so upset with you, she's trouble. Quinn, and she can't say anything because she belongs to B613 and all this other stuff. He never should. I think Huck should take some type of responsibility because he never should have let her torture that man. He never should have let Charlie her. And then she's sitting here trying to follow Charlie because Huck is denying her. No. Quinn needs to have a seat or she needs to be kicked off the show. She needs to be killed, something, because nothing good is going to come out of this at all. She was baited. And then, I like how, like I said earlier, how they made it a Huck and Becky type situation. And again, she got betrayed at the end, just like Huck was. They were family watching, except they were security guard watching. Chandler got me getting ready to have a heart attack.
Well, here's the thing. I know who's going to be watching what and who's going to be following who, okay? All of us gladiators, we're going to be watching next week because Shonda did her thing. And we're going to be watching to see what's going on with the passengers that were released off of this airplane that supposedly blew up. Who's in jail, all these little sneak peeks they're giving us. Oh, we'll be there, and we'll be right here after the scandal of that show. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, guests Michelle and Morgan, for calling in and having this conversation with us. So much to talk about, you guys. Keep the conversation going at home. But ladies, where can we reach you outside of this? Let us know your social networks. Morgan.
You can find me on Facebook, Morgan Breon, Breon, or on Instagram, Morgan_Breon.
Fantastic. And don't forget, we got our girl Michelle. Michelle, where can we keep the convo going with you?
Facebook, Michelle Littlejohn, and I am on Twitter, ShellBell01. That's ShellBell with an S.
Fantastic. Well, no matter who you liked or who you were so tired of with this episode, you can always be a part of the conversation with us here after the scandal. Thanks so much for tuning in to My Slice Network. Check us out next week at myslicetv.com.